Yo, what up, guys? Your boy T-Dub, what's blazing in sports, coming to you live. Let's go ahead and get that Wednesday mix in real quick, guys. We got a fight coming up. It's a heavyweight fight, November the 4th. I think a lot of people was hoping for the Ortiz versus Wilder fight, but no. Due to some things being found in Ortiz's bloodstream, and I believe he may have actually been suspended as well. But what we got, guys, here, we got Deontay Wilder versus Bermane Stiverne 2. A lot of people haven't really been asking for this fight, but I would say that it's a little curious to see what each one of these fighters have learned since their first encounter. From the Showtime videos I've seen, it looks like what they really trying to highlight is that Deontay Wilder is this unstoppable heavyweight that's bringing new life to the division, and Stiverne is the only kind of blemish in his win column because it's not a knockout. Everyone he stopped but Stiverne. No, he did not stop Stiverne, but yes, damn sure he had to go to the hospital afterwards. So what I want to get into here, guys, like I said, this is live. I was at my desk thinking about a video, thought about this fight coming up November the 4th. It is worth checking out. And I want to do kind of a breakdown on what I think each fighter needs to do in order to win. I might even give you a prediction. I don't know yet, but I'm just going to get started and tell you what I think. Now, there are many ways. You might think my way is wrong. You might think it's right. But, hey, sit back, relax, and take a listen. So, on the surface, just on the surface without breaking it down, I would think Deontay Wilder should win this fight. Now, the person that wants this fight more is Stiverne. You know, he's been campaigning for this rematch. He was paid step-aside money for this rematch. Now, this is crazy. Crazy, guys. Deontay Wilder pays Stiverne to step aside to fight Ortiz. Ortiz get booted out. Stiverne get put back in. So does this mean he gets to step aside money because he did do his part? And he get a whole new cut for actually being the main event in the main event now because they stuck with the same date. You know, so this is definitely a win. This is definitely a win for Stiverne. Get the fight you want. Also get paid maybe 2 or 3 times off of it. So I think I'm going to start with Stiverne since he is the one that most people will probably say would not win this fight. If you look at the picture right here, guys, this is what he was pretty much catching most of the night. Stiverne was coming in with his hands up. He did catch a lot of shots on the gloves. Some of them did get through. I believe the one we're looking at right now either got through or possibly went around and hit the left side of his head. Now, he did survive the fight, but his head was swollen, man. I'm talking about looking like that dude off of Star Trek. I can't think of his name, but it was looking just like that dude off of Star Trek. He should have been, he should apply for, a part in the movie, at least an upcoming one, at that time. Now, one of his things I would definitely say he needs to work on, I'm not sure he will or not, but, I would keep his hands up like he does there. That's not bad, but maybe do some type of, head movement, a little side to side, because when you come in with a straight target like that, it's not hard. Either they're going to punch your gloves or they're going to punch your head. But if you come in and press the action, smartly cut off the ring, and use little head movements, either left and right, changing it up, down, bowing down a little bit, double right. Keep changing it. That way, it would keep Deontay Wilder a little hesitant in landing that jab, throwing that jab, or trying to land that big right hand because he's looking for a steady target to hit. Now, another thing you would notice from this picture right here is that they almost look close to the same height, even though we both know that's not true. They kind of look close to the same height. Now, if I was Stiverne, one of the things I would also work on while I'm doing this slight head movement as I'm pressing the action is maybe fight a little lower. Because if Deontay Wilder can get down and be close to your height and shoot his jab in there, his longer reach and it's going to clear his sight better. When he gets down and he looks at you, it's going to clear his sight better than if you were lower than him, which it would basically cloud his sight from seeing clear shots. And another thing is you definitely have to cut off the ring. He has to cut off the ring. He has to press the action. Stiverne is not in a position to step back and try to box and outbox Wilder from a distance. That'd be bad. He needs to cut off the ring. He needs to move his head. I'm not talking about crazy because I know he's a big man, but he got to add some type of head movement in there. He needs to fight a little bit lower when he's fighting a taller man. He needs to work on an overhand right. That right there, he needs to set up. Set it up, set it up, set it up. Look at something else and then throw the overhand right. One more thing I think just coming off my head is when Deontay Wilder goes along the ropes, he tends to go in like a high shell defense. His body is exposed. He does protect the head pretty well, but he does not protect the body. If Stiverne every time he gets Wilder on the ropes or Wilder takes himself on the ropes, he needs to bang that body. And I'm talking about early, round 1, round 2. And he really needs to put that pressure in. That's what come in with the head moving, because when you're not moving your head and you just walking in with your hands up high and you're catching shots on your forearms and your gloves and your head itself, it's still kind of stopping you in that movement. It's stopping you and making you stop because you are under fire. But if you have your head moving and you slipping shots and you press an action and you do throw a jab, if you're already moving, you can slip that jab, slide in. Now you're within the zone you want to be. You want to be within that zone to where Wilder cannot get full extension on his punches and you can get more leverage on your own punches. All right, so right now I think off the top of my head, that's what I kind of have for Stiverne. Now, this is live, and if you have something different, that's okay, guys. You know, there's more than one plan to success, but I want to give you my keys to victory. Now, for Wilder, to me, it's a lot easier. You know, keep that distance. For the most part, you can almost... like if Stiverne is not pressing action, you can almost stand there and that jab has to be working. That jab needs to be maybe 75, 80% of his punches. That jab needs to be working. That distance needs to be established. And he needs to use his legs. So when Stiverne is coming in, he needs to use his legs and use angles and keep that jab working, And you throw that big hand when Stiverne does kind of come in. He got to be in almost like a counterpuncher mode. You're jabbing, you're hitting him, and then right when you see Stiverne trying to slip and get in, pow! You land a big right hand and you slide out. I wouldn't get in exchanges because you're the taller man. You don't need to exchange with him unless you got him hurt. And if Wilder does have success in getting him work, just me personally, I would like to see Mr. Bomb Squad, be a little more under control when he is attacking. Sometimes when he got you hurt, like when he fought Washington and he had Washington hurt, he was like literally swinging from the fences. I would like to see him maybe a little bit more under control, show a little bit growth in his attack when he got someone hurt, because he can actually be more deadly. The shots will come a lot faster and they'll be a lot stronger and he'll have a lot more leverage behind it because he'll be throwing it more correctly. But basically, for the honest, that's pretty much it for Deontay Wilder. He needs to use that jab, use angles, and you set up that big right hand. Most likely, he will probably have to counter with it. He could throw like some 1-2s every there, but most likely about to counter either Stiverne jab, maybe counter Stiverne when he throws a right hand. But another thing about Wilder just coming up to my mind is I would like to see Wilder work the body more. Against a smaller fighter, it'd be a little bit harder, especially if Stiverne does what I say and try to fight at a lower, a lower height, which would make their body a lot difficult to get to because the head would be a little bit tougher to get to, especially with the guard that Stiverne used. But Wilder needs that jab pumping, man. I'm talking about shooting up jabs. A lot of people know what an up jab is. You throw a normal jab, and then you kind of tilt in and shoot an up jab and shoot it right between the creases of the glove and land flush, you know. Set them up, you know. Some things I would do, I would maybe throw a jab, maybe even feint a jab, and come around that corner with a hook or a feint a jab and throw a right hand, you know. Just keep it, you know, keep them guessing. There's more than one way to fight somebody that got a height guard. You know, I would love to go to their body, but I think that that's not really Deontay Wilder's style in this. But let's get to the prediction, guys. I'm going to give you a prediction with the keys to victory. Now, another thing I want to do, guys, I know I've been doing a lot of videos like this because I've been at work and I am back in the boxing gym, so I'm back training and I'm back training others. So it took away the time that when I'm at home and I can be in front of the camera and I can be talking. So I'm still trying to get these videos while I'm trying to improve myself, help improve others, and also make money to, pay my bills. But the prediction I see, Deontay Wilder getting this victory. I'm not saying Stiverne can't pull it off. I just told you in my mind, what I think he needs to do. And if he does it, it would make it very interesting. I would like to see how each one of these fighters has grown. Because a lot of times the first fight, sometimes the second fight could be very, very similar or it can be totally different. I can't remember who was that fought. Was it Leo Santa Cruz that fought and got beat once? And then all of a sudden you came back the second time, you thought he was going to get beat, and the dude totally learned from his mistakes and came back and dominated and won easy. You know, so the thing is, it's not more pressure. Even though it's going to be pressure on Wilder to win, it's going to be a lot of personal pressure on Stiverne. You fought him. You know what it is to be in the ring with him. You know what his power feels like. You know what his distance is. Yes, you haven't faced it for a while, but the fact is, what did you learn from it? Did you go to school and did you learn nothing? Or did you go to school and did you learn something? And test time is going to come November the 4th. So whoever wins, I had to pick a winner. I will go with Deontay Wilder. But it can be a very entertaining fight. Both fighters will have some success. I'm not knocking that. Now, just off topic a little bit, but still on topic with Deontay Wilder. I'm going to step away from this fight and talk about Wilder for a second. Wilder gets a lot of hate, all right? And a lot of that hate I don't believe he should get, because it looks like the guy has been trying to fight the fighters people say he's ducking. They always try to say that he hasn't fought anybody. Now, the heavyweight division itself, for a while, it was weak. It was weak. It was like watered down Kool-Aid. It was like getting gasoline at a pump, but it was only 5% gasoline, 95% water. It was weak, which means anybody that rose up, you know, whoever you fought, you was beating people that no one even knew, or they just wasn't really good contenders. A lot of fighters built themselves off like that because the whole heavyweight division for a minute was the Klitschko's. That's what it was. They didn't have the competition to push them. There was not a lot of names out there. There were some names that people thought were going to be something, but they turned out to be nothing. You know, they turned out to be exposed for either being too green, not having a chin, or just not being a good fighter, you know, because they build them up by fighting the people that nobody know, because people want to see life in the heavyweight division. And when they finally get a test, they fail the shit out of it, you know. But so a lot of people Wilder fought. A lot of them haven't been a lot. But you can't knock him for trying. But remember, you can say this about any of the heavyweights that's coming up, you know. That's coming up. He called out Anthony Joshua. He wants that fight. He wants to unify the title. He said, out of his words, he wants to be basically the savior of the heavyweight division. He wanted to fight Ortiz even after knowing he was dirty in a drug test. I mean, if it was up to him, they'll be fighting still. They took that option from him. They put Stiverne there. He didn't ask for that. They pretty much made him take that fight, even though he was pissed off. He done a video talking about, either I know who's doing this, I know who's doing that. I can tell by the way you act. I still fight him. I still fight him. They took him away. So what can you say, guys? He was going to go over to Russia and defend his title. I heard the guy he was going to fight failed 2 drug tests. Now the guy he was just supposed to fight was, supposedly failed a drug test. Now he's back fighting Stiverne, who people are trying to say, oh, you fighting these handpicked people, which he, in all honesty, it looks like he really wasn't trying to fight him because he paying his guy step aside money. But that's just my off the topic rant with that right there. I think the heavyweight division is getting better because now at least we have a few names. I think we need to get more names. We need, maybe 10 solid names of really good heavyweights so we can talk about the potential matchup, between each one of the 10 heavyweights. Then you be building it back up. If you look at the 147-pound division, OMG, you got so many names there. You look at the 140-pound division. You look at the 154-pound division. You look at the 160 division. And, you can see names. Some divisions are better than others, but you can see names there of potential matchups to build fights, But when you only have, 2 or 3 people in the whole division, there's not a whole lot to do. If you make those 2 and 3 fight each other back, then there's nothing more, which is why I can understand why they want to build up fights, but yet you don't want the people to have to wait for the fights, But let's say that Deontay Wilder beats Stiverne in a tough fight. You know what? It'll be a tough fight, but I almost want to say Stiverne might go night-night. I don't know. He got a hard head, man. He got a hard head. I bet his mom probably told him when he was a kid, you hard-headed. Yeah, I know. It's going to take me a long way in boxing too, Mom. It's going to pay off. If he beats Stiverne and Anthony Joshua beats this guy that stepped in very short notice, and Anthony Joshua should clean this guy's clock to where you can be able to tell time for 2 miles away because it's so visible. He should clean this guy up pretty nicely. I don't know if I got it might be a 6 round stoppage. I don't know. I dig more into that. Let me think about it. I get more into that. As a matter of fact, I think I got a video out about that now, at least talking about it. But I do get to do a lot of props because for stepping in on short notice like that, you don't even have to change the date, and the guy's still fighting you. Big props to him, huge props. And if AJ beat this guy and they fight him pretty close at the same time, Deontay Wilder's free, AJ is free. To be all honest, there's no reason they shouldn't fight. So let's just hope that we do get the mega fight between these 2 guys, and that will be a debate for the future. Until now, this is your boy T-Dub with Blazing the Sports, and we're out.